Welcome back, everyone, to the Geardown Invitational 2021. I'm Turbo, and I'm still joined in by Flink. How's it going? I mean, we've seen the first match, and what is your opinion about the map and also about the, general circumstance at the moment?
Yeah, so unfortunately we had only 3 players on the last map, and also we've seen a bit of the heebie-jeebies in the beginning for the players. A bit of nervousness, I think, although they all trained the beginning when you're actually in match was a bit hard, it seemed. And remember, we have 4 new players now who haven't started, so I'm interested to see if that will happen again or not. What do you think?
Yeah, and I mean, you just named it. We haven't really heard something from Damage thus far, so we have no idea if he will be fine for the next match or not. Of course, he dropped down into the loser bracket, but I hope that he can still play it. And yeah, with the match coming up now, I think this is the more closer match compared to the first one. We have Magorian, Razer, Ener, who are seed 3, 4, and 5, and then also nivO, where we haven't really heard from, but he seems to be the fan favorite here. If you take a look into the chat, a lot of go nivOs, and I think that he can definitely make something happen, even though he has the worst PB from those players, Flink.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, it will be interesting to see. As I've said, 3 names I've actually heard before, and then nivO, so he's the underdog for me. Yeah, let's see what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, we see him currently driving, and he's actually putting in a 113.92, so it seems that he is not playing so, not so far away from his PB. Maybe he's practiced offline. I mean, we've seen those things a lot in Trackmania Grand League, but with that, I mean, what do you think of those 4 players here? Do you think that seed 3 and 4 will advance, or do you think that Razer and nivO will also have a chance?
So yeah, PB is actually not that important. You have to be consistent as it's cup mode. But of course, in the end, you have to win a match, as it is in cup mode. And I actually have no idea who I would bet on. Yeah, that's all I can say about that.
Well, I mean, what does your gut feeling says to you? I mean, this could also maybe a name you find more attractive than the other one. Maybe it's Ener because the name is so short. Maybe it's Razer because he's playing for Eminem, or the just handsome Magorian from Poland, the Polish powerhouse. So maybe you just give us the gut feeling. Maybe this bet is correct. Who knows?
Okay, so gut feeling. I'll join the chat and go with nivO.
Ooh, okay. And the second one?
Okay, nivO, then Razer, I think. What's your prediction?
So I'm gonna go and say that Ener maybe hasn't really practiced that much because he's an OGL player, you know? And of course he is a versatile player, and I think he will not make it. It will be very close, and I think that also nivO will have a chance. But I think that Razer's gonna win ahead of Magorian. I just don't know why. Of course, Magorian is maybe one of the favorites, but I think that both of them will make it. But of course, consistency, as you have pointed out, is more important than just the time that the players have set beforehand. That has determined their seeding. But yeah, we are currently still watching nivO here for the warm-up, and he is definitely not doing too bad, as he just crashed, of course. But he is not doing too bad here. So we can expect close rounds, and this time it's no DC, so we have a 4-man battle here for 2 spots in the winner bracket final.
Right. And I don't know if we mentioned it already, but as someone who celebrates good maps on his YouTube channel, the map is called Cold Day by Raveout. Just so you know.
Yeah, and Raveout also a person that was in the chat, so definitely an interesting map. Just to say the least, not easy at all. But we're gonna start now here. The warm-up has ended, and the 5 minutes of warm-up are over. And now we're gonna start with the first round. Kick it over.
Okay, let's hope everyone started. It seems like so. Can't read the names right now, but hopefully soon. We see all players still doing well. One mistake by nivO. Which puts him behind quite a bit. So as I said, maybe we have a little bit of the same phenomenon we had in the first round. We need a bit of more warm-up, although we have the warm-up, but as soon as it goes live, that's a very different story. And we have two players in front right now, Razer and Magorian, fighting it out, and then two players a bit more behind. But Magorian and Razer neck and neck.
Yeah, it's very close here for that, as Magorian goes for the inside approach with more speed going to that stretch, but Razer also with the beautiful M&M car skin here does it really well. Razer Alver also with the more outside approach here, but it's still very close between them. Look at that, Magorian accumulates more speed going to that last part of the track here. We only have a couple of more drifts to go, but Razer with the mistake there was risking it too much, didn't die completely, and Magorian will take home that first 10-pointer. And this is certainly very good for him, as you might not be familiar with the format. It's still cup mode, so you collect points until 50 points, and if you have surpassed or reached 50 points, you activate finalist mode, and with that, you have to win one more round in order to advance. The top two goes through, the bottom two goes out, and you can see the points for the respective position. It's 10, 6, 4, and 3 points, and it's going to round number 2. As I've just seen in the chat, nivO set a fast time 6 minutes ago, and it's a 1:13.42. So your bet is certainly not that bad.
Very cool. Yeah, so let's see, second round already. Cup mode, still one of my favorite modes. Perfect balance between skill and a little bit of excitement in the end. And it's still important to get a few of those trickle points that can be very important in the end. And right now we see Magorian and Razer already coming to the middle of the map. How far are the others behind? Not that much, but nivO falling a bit behind right now. Magorian and Razer, and also Ener still have a good chance. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'll just go ahead. I think it is pretty clear here that Magorian is taking this round. It's 0.2 of a second, and he has nothing to do here. But the battle for that second place is still going on, but is Ener not really accumulating a lot of speed there, so he is not about to overtake it. But Magorian with a mistake there in the ending, jumped very far up there, still was able to hold that first position there, but it was certainly not that much of a gap here. 0.1 of a second between Magorian and Razer. Razer who takes second, Ener in P3, and then we have nivO again, not with a lot of points here. I mean, Ener and nivO both only with 7 points in those last 2 rounds. As we go into round number 3, it is still pretty close between them in terms of pace, but of course the consistency is really important on this one. And I would actually follow nivO here in this round, since I want to see if he maybe has made a mistake or something. He drops a little bit behind, 0.15 of a second it is between him and the rest. Also goes for a different line there, had to break a little bit more by the looks of it compared towards Razer and Magorian.
But overtook to third place there, so now almost tied for third and fourth. Drops behind a little bit again. And let's see what he can do in the second part of the map. Also that spicy finish, it's not too hard, but hopefully we won't see any crashes there with overtakes. Right now, to third place, getting very close to first and second, but of course all of the players are really trained on this map, and if you want to beat Razer, you have to show your A game. And Magorian in first with these last 2 turns coming up. I think those are some of the hardest, but all players seem to hold the line here. Magorian winning with a 1:13.59.
Okay, that was a great time by Magorian here, not gonna lie. And yeah, we're just gonna go into the next round now. So if you take a look onto the points here, it is actually looking quite good for the points here. It is actually looking very good for none other than Magorian, who actually has 30 points at the moment, so this is a very good performance by him. Razer at 18 points, then nivO and Ener a little bit further behind at 11 and 10 points. But let's take a look here, as Magorian is again leading, so what a great performance. But just when I say that, it's Razer with a lot of speed here over that freewheel section, but a much closer round here compared to the prior round. Ener a little bit further behind. nivO with a very good line here, can come a bit closer here to claim that second position, but it's still Razer leading here with 0.2 of a second, so he could be on a very good time flank.
Yeah, raw pace right now in this round. No one has made a big mistake, but the field is stretching out a little bit. Razer ahead, but nivO is catching up right now a little bit. And yeah, let's see how it will commence. Magorian pushing in right now, but I think Razer is just too fast for this last part. But we'll have to see. This turn is just so hard, and anything can still happen right up till the end. But Razer wins it.
All right,
And
Razer
yeah,
with
Magorian with 30 points plus 6 right now, 36, making a bit of a lead on the point board.
yeah, great effort there from the players. And I mean, with that, we're coming closer and closer. I mean, it is still the point limit of 50 that players have to achieve. As we see the first mistake here by Magorian. So Magorian, after not winning the prior rounds, he makes another mistake. And with a last position, he would move up to 39 points. Of course, not the thing you want to be into, but nivO with a mistake there. And I was seeing that one coming by picking that inside line there. This line was not really looking that well. He was picking that a lot of times, and it's a very, very small margin that you have to hit there. And he's dead, so Magorian will certainly be very happy about that.
Oh man, what do you think? Where are the parts on the map where you can gain the most time?
I would actually say it's the ending and also the freewheel section, and also like landings. You want to get a good landing, especially this part here as well, where you want to have a 4-wheel landing. But speaking of 4 wheels, of course, it is currently the 4-wheel player who is so far behind and messed up one of those sections you just mentioned beforehand. And it is Ener as well with a mistake there. And Magorian is actually on P2 at the moment. And it is Razer winning it with a 1:13.87. So by the looks of it, the times are not as fast as on the prior semifinal.
True, 13.87. We have seen a lot of 13.5s. So a good 0.3 behind, but that doesn't have to mean anything. We'll have to see what the next round brings, and I've seen a few good times in this semifinal as well. And it's all about consistency, so get some points in every round, and I think you'll be good.
Yep. As we go into the next round, it is, I think, round number 6 or round number 5. If I recall it correctly. But, I mean, just take a look onto the gaps already. We have 38 and 42 points for Razer and Magorian, so my bets are currently doing very nice. Then there is nivO and Ener, both only with 17 and 18 points. So this is looking bad, if not even grim for them. So this is not what they expected, and haven't really arrived in the match just yet, because they didn't get themselves a first or a second position, as Razer is on a very good run. But bear in mind, you need to get up to 40 points in order to activate finalist mode if you get first place, of course. And currently Razer is at 38 points, so he would need at least one more round after that in order to advance into the finalist mode if he's not getting himself first position in this round. But currently it's looking very good, very close fight there. Good line from Ener, they're overtaking nivO there, not Nemo. Oh my god. And then we have Magorian in second position, but Razer with a good amount of speed, so both will actually be tied with that. And a great time, and Magorian with a very close ending there. But yeah, I mean, you named it. 1:13.77, a better time than in the prior round, but both are now tied for first position.
True, yeah, and we see 2 favorites crystallizing out. nivO and Ener need to show their A game right now to catch up a bit. And let's hope they can do that this round, as one player already drops out. Who was it? Ener. Ener with a mistake, so it's not his round, but nivO in first place still. Oh, going so close to that left curb there. Gets a bit of a lead though, so hopefully he can keep it and get the points closer together. You see a good car length between nivO and the other 2 players. Oh, Magorian catching up though, and is he overtaking? Barely, yes. But we have the very tough end still to do, and the places are changing very quickly at the moment. I can't keep up. So nivO's again in first, but Razer showing his consistency. He has done very well in the last matches, and is in front. No, not not anymore, but it's so close right now. So let's watch this last corner.
Oh! It's
gonna-
Razer overtaking there. Oh man, what a great ending. Back and forth there between Razer, Magorian, and nivO. That was certainly very, very nicely executed. And with that, it is, still not nivO and Ener not getting themselves a 6 points. It was always between Magorian and also Razer here for that first and second position. So that's the first finalist attempt for them. And going into round number 8, it is, both who are already in finalist. So nivO, I want to say always Nemo. That's like a German rapper. I have no idea, man. I'm so brain dead today. But hey, anyways, so nivO with a good performance there, but couldn't really stand up at the ending there with them, and thus didn't get himself like a 6 or a 10 pointer. And now it's Magorian versus Razer here, going into their first finals attempt, both with different lines here over this section. But it is, Magorian and Razer still staying ahead of nivO, and it's pretty close between them. Only 0.05 of a second. But Magorian with a mistake, though. So Razer and Ener are sandwiching nivO at the moment, who's on P2. So this is looking close. Ener goes so close. They get so much speed here in this ending section. So it is Ener who is currently has to press B for boost a little more, a quarter of a second behind. nivO ever is about to clock in his first 6 pointer, and maybe this is what he needs, but he also wants to avoid Razer the entry into the winner bracket final. Has more speed though. Will he overtake him? Nope, not enough. 113.70 for Razer is enough, and he will be the third player here, accompanying none other than Mr. Zycos and Barbos here into the winner bracket final. GG.
Very deserved. I think, as I've seen, Razer with the least mistakes, very consistent the last rounds. So him being the first winner, fine with me. But now let's see if the two players, nivO and Ener, can catch up and deny Magorian his entry. As he is in finalist, he only needs the win, and this semifinal will be over. But right now we have nivO in the lead, Magorian catching up though, so he could already close this match. Gets a very good drift around this corner. nivO as well though, very close to that left corner there, and again, oh my god. It's gonna be, I think, a very close fight up until the end. This corner we haven't seen any mistakes so far, I think, so it's all gonna be in these last two corners again. And nivO gets a no drift, I think, so it's gonna be Magorian, and the semifinals seem to be over.
Yeah, only one more section there for Magorian to cope, and he will certainly save it here. He has nothing to lose, only
GG.
Only something here to that finish, but he can just save it. And the 113.66, you seal the deal for Magorian. So Flink, my bet was correct. I said Razer in first, Magorian in second, but I thought that the match is way, way closer with that. But Razer and Magorian just played out of their mind. So nivO and Ener are down into the loser bracket, and Razer and Magorian will play the winner bracket final. So they have a little bit of a break, because we have the loser bracket semifinal after that, which will of course be the players who drop down. And and any opinion about this match actually?
I think the pace was a bit slower, but the consistency was higher, so a bit more interesting overall. In the end, two players crystallized out, so I think very deserved win, and your experience called them out very well. So yeah, very good.
Yeah, indeed, a nice match here. And I mean, the times weren't that fast, but I mean, maybe the players just didn't have to drive that fast, because for me, nivO did a lot of mistakes. I mean, he set this 113.45 42.5 just 6 minutes before the match, but he was still not able to really keep up with the pace, and maybe he can do better. Maybe there's nervousness involved with that. I have no idea, but they are definitely able to make something happen. We've seen them being contestants for round wins, but they couldn't quite make it. And with that, I would also say that Magorian and Razer have deservedly qualified to the winner brackets, and we will be back with the loser bracket semifinal. But do you want to add something, or should we just go into the break?
Let's go into the break.
All right, then we will see ourselves done.
Not just yet, ladies and gentlemen. We are in front of your screens, not to worry at all. However, we have had our semi-final number 2 just happening there, and everyone's going to take a little bit of a break for that, because that was certainly a little bit more heated up than the first one, but not even just because there was 4 players instead of 3, but it seems to be that was just a very much closer match in general. What were your impressions of that one?
I think that I mentioned that Razer was the guy to look after, and after the 3 first rounds, I was like, okay, Magorian is going to be the player to look after, but then after the Razer had 3 second places in a row, he then went on to win 5 rounds in a row and essentially win the match. I spoke a little bit to Razer yesterday. I asked about how is it going to be to play such a short match. He said maybe it's not that beneficial to him because he's somewhat of a slow starter. We saw it now that he didn't win the first rounds, even though we got second. So I think Razer is maybe looking to become some sort of favorite because he drives consistent and he's even able to get the rounds win. And when they win 5 rounds in a row and the point limit is 50, well, they have a good chance at actually winning this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, mathematically, statistically, I think you're right. I mean, it was definitely a very powerful start from Magorian, but a very powerful finish by Razer. And it's one of these kind of things. I mean, we have in LAN events, you have players that will have a 5-map pack, and some people will have maps that they feel better on, maps that will feel worse on. So it's just a question of, will we see the same trends emerging from the likes of Magorian? Will he start strongly again? Will he fade off towards a later end? Will Razer have another strong match? Because they're all playing the same map. It's only the opponents that are going to be changing. So it will be very interesting to see, with the times definitely picking up with the winner bracket final, what's going to change there. But also, I mean, you look at it on the other side of the things. For the players that have fallen down to the lower bracket, so that being Otaaaq, Ener, nivO and Damage, it's going to see, I mean, first of all, if Damage will be able to show up at all. We still haven't have an update from him yet at all. But just going to see if they will make the same kind of mistakes, because you've got to think, coming in as a lower bracket seed, you have that pressure to perform and to overperform to beat people who have seeded higher than you.
Yeah, if you talk about the lower bracket, and essentially the ones who has the knife on the throat, if they lose, they're out. I think Otaaaq is the guy who is the favorite to advance there. Damage is, of course, the favorite to go out because we don't expect him to show up. That is just a bonus if we are able to see him. But the battle between Ener and nivO seems to be really close. I tried to follow out their placements, and there was essentially just switching rounds. They both have 4 times finishing third. Ener finished fourth 4 times, and nivO finished fourth 3 times. So they were really close together, and I think it's essentially going to be a 1v1 between them on who takes the last advancing spot into, what will that be, a loser bracket final?
That would be essentially the consolidation final, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be very interesting, exactly as you said there. I mean, Otaaaq was showing some consistency, but the times were faster, I would say, in semi-final number 1. But it will be interesting to see what the players will then manage. Now that the pressure, I suppose the pressure's off a little bit in terms of their opponents, but the pressure is definitely on in terms of it now being, you know, all or nothing. If you, and it's not in a case of, on the other hand of it being that you don't have all the kind of time to settle into a match that you do in a LAN event. You know, this is the only map. If the players aren't playing well on it, then they're just going to have a bad time of it. And there's not a lot of time to recover when you only have one map and the matches are about 20 minutes long.
Yeah, the safety net is gone for these players. That is the good thing about having double elimination. If you have a bad match, then you can sort of fall into the safety net and end up in the loser bracket. But now that safety net is gone, I don't know if the players are going to be more nervous now or if they're going to be less nervous, because maybe they can be less nervous because now they know that, okay, the other players I play against also didn't have a good first match. They should then be on paper easier opponents. That should have some sort of level that I have instead of being like Zycos or Razer. So I'm curious to see if these players are then going to step up or if they're just going to crumble under the pressure and see ya, and the Sunday is over.
For sure, yeah, it'll be very interesting to see, and we will have it coming up on your screen shortly. We will actually have a short break a little bit coming up here. Will be 5 minutes. We will be away from your screens, and then we will be back once again with Turbo and Flink to bring us through the lower bracket final. And of course, the two players then, the lower bracket semi-final, pardon me. So the two players that go through this, you will find them in the loser bracket final. They'll go against the bottom two from the winner bracket final, but Flink and Turbo will have that for you coming up in 5 minutes.